Hi there, my name's Bruce Rain from Breakers Creations, and in this video I'm going to make my own television station. I collect and restore vintage Macs, and one of the more unusual and collectible Macs is the Macintosh TV. It's an all-in-one Mac with a built-in TV tuner, and with the right software installed, you can switch from the computer display to TV and watch television on your Mac. But here's the problem. It's an old analog TV tuner, and if it's the same for you as it is here in Australia, everything has gone digital and there are no analog TV signals being broadcast anymore. The Macintosh TV is just one example. There are vintage televisions of all shapes and sizes, and they are becoming quite collectible, which is why I made this video. So what can you do with an old analog TV now other than stare at static? Well, some TVs have AV input, so you can connect them up to an old game console, VCR or DVD player, or even display the output of a computer. But there is another option. Broadcast your own analog signal with this. I bought it from AliExpress and it's referred to as a Ham Geek analog TV signal transmitter. But the device itself has no branding on it and it feels very much like a kit. No case, just a couple of PCBs sandwiched together with some standoffs. It came with a USB-A to USB-C cable for power and an antenna. This device can take a video and audio signal and transmit it on either VHF or UHF frequencies. It has the option for an analog input signal or HDMI digital input. The transmission range is not good, but that's to be expected for a small piece of consumer electronics like this. Anything with a powerful signal is illegal to use without a broadcast license. In my tests, the signal is pretty good at distances up to about 10 meters or 30 feet. After that, it starts degrading pretty fast. So I would suggest placing the transmitter in the same room as the devices you want picking up the signal. Let's take a quick look at the transmitter. It came with absolutely no documentation. It runs off 5V DC via this USB-C port on the right side. It has 3 RCA connectors on the left side, one each for video, left audio and right audio. These connectors can either be used for analog video input or as an analog output if you're using digital input. On the top is a full-sized HDMI connector which you can use for digital video and audio input. On the bottom are 3 switches. The one on the right is the power switch, and the 2 switches on the left are used to configure the input and output. Both switches to the right if you're using HDMI for input, and both switches to the left if you're using analog input. There's also a screw-on antenna to improve your transmission range. There's a small colour display and 3 buttons for changing the settings: Menu, Add and Cot. Don't ask me what COT stands for, but these last 2 buttons should probably be labelled with a plus and a minus, because they allow you to navigate up and down different selections. Press and hold down the menu button and the TV option will start flashing. Use the other 2 buttons to change the selection. Here we have only 2 options, UHF or VHF. I've found that UHF gives a little more clarity than VHF, but you might find otherwise. Press the menu button again to move to the next option, which allows you to select between P for PAL or N for NTSC. All of my equipment is PAL, so that's what I've selected. Press the menu again to select the RF option, which will allow you to set the frequency of your transmission. You don't have any fine control of the frequency. In fact, it only gives you 8 options for UHF and 8 for VHF. But that's enough to make a change to avoid any possible interference or allow you to set up multiple transmitters on different frequencies. The last setting is SIF, and I have no idea what this stands for. If you know, please let me know in the comments. The SIF setting specifies the signal offset for the audio subcarrier compared to the video signal. For me, this needs to be set at 5.5 MHz, but this may well be different for you. If you're getting a nice sharp image but no sound, experiment with this setting. So now I have this nifty transmitter, what do I do with it? Well, one thing you can do is buy a digital set-top box and connect the output to this transmitter. This allows you to watch today's TV shows on yesterday's TVs. The only issue is you need to change the channels on the set-top box rather than the television set. You could also connect up a VCR, DVD or Blu-ray player to broadcast your choice of movies or TV shows. I've decided to do something silly. I have my complete DVD and Blu-ray collection archived to my Plex server. I'm going to set up my own 24/7 TV channel using Plex to play random movies. So I'll be able to switch on an analogue TV at any time and watch whatever random movie is being transmitted. Now, I realise that broadcasting my movie collection kind of contravenes copyright, but considering the signal isn't even strong enough for my next door neighbour to watch it, I don't think anyone's going to get upset. I have a spare 2012 Mac Mini, which is nice and small, so I can tuck it away in the corner of a room somewhere. I've installed Mac OS 12 Monterey, Plex client, and I've connected up the TV transmitter to the HDMI output of the Mac Mini. The Mac now thinks the transmitter is the monitor, so will output the computer display at whatever resolution I set for the transmitter. Most of the vintage TVs I have are 4:3 aspect ratio, so I've selected 480p as the display resolution to force any widescreen content to display with a letterbox rather than distorting a 16:9 image to fit into 4:3. I've also selected the transmitter as the audio output so the broadcast has sound as well. I've launched Plex client and logged in so I can access my Plex server, which I have running on an old Mac Pro in another room. Now I can select shuffle playback of my movie collection. And here is the result. My old analog TV receivers playing my movies. There is just one last thing I want to do. I really don't like the way the transmitter is naked, so I've designed and 3D printed a case for it. Now it looks more complete and a little less janky. I've made these files available on Thingiverse if you'd like to print your own. Just remove the antenna, unscrew the standoffs and remove the top PCB. When placing the main PCB into the case, put the RCA connectors in first, and you may need to bend out the other side a little to get the USB connector in place. Drop the 3D printed buttons onto the microswitches, then place the lid on top. Use 4 M3 screws to secure the lid, screw on the antenna, and you're ready to go. I have no affiliation with the company that makes this transmitter. I'm just a vintage tech enthusiast and wanted to share. If you like this sort of content, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Links to the Plex software and details on where to buy the transmitter are in the description. Thanks for watching. I thought the green filament would look cool, but it just looks stupid.